Donald Trump now appeals the gag order again from Judge Engoron and his law clerk, the principal law clerk. He gets very upset when you don't call her by her proper name. We call her the judge's GF. Her name is Allison Greenfield. And we notice that she's sitting on the same level as the judge on the bench, giving him little love notes, maybe kicking him in the foot. We don't know what else they're doing over there. But the problem was Trump's lawyers were having some concerns about this. Why is she telling you what to do? Why is she giving you guidance on our objections? Why are you allowing her to be the judge when you're just sitting there taking orders from her? So there were concerns about this. Now we've seen this. Donald Trump, in my opinion, and his defense team also have the right to criticize the court system. That's the whole purpose of free speech. You have to be able to criticize the tyrants. Otherwise, the tyrants can do whatever they want. That's the whole purpose of the First Amendment. And so Trump got gagged. He got sanctioned multiple times, fined $15,000. We went up to the next level court of appeals, the Appellate Court in New York, and now we are at the New York Supreme Court. Now, for most other states, we call the highest court in our state the Supreme Court. New York calls it the Court of Appeals. And so it's a little bit confusing, but we're at the highest level now. We're going to see what is happening there. We're also going to hear from Psaki, who says that, yeah, Trump should be gagged, okay? He is dangerous. His words, his truths, they might not feel that dangerous. You might just dismiss them, but they're actually an attack on American democracy and journos like Psaki. So we're going to go right to it. In the New York Court of Appeals, you can see this is the most recent filing submitted by the moving party. So this is Trump's team submitting this in Honorable Arthur Areola Engoron's court. They're saying, we've got a problem here, submitting this up to the highest level now, saying this application is by Trump for expedited leave for permission from the Court of Appeals to appeal this with an expedited determination and review. They're asking, hey, New York Supreme Court, we're asking for you to vacate essentially the way this works. To zoom out briefly, Engoron at the lower level, first level court issued the gag. Appellate Court reversed the gag, issued a stay on the gag until the full panel reversed the stay. So now Trump is saying, can you please reverse the reversal of the stay and lift the gag again, is the sequence here. So here is what they write. All right. Upon reading in the filing of this annexed affirmation of urgency, this is Trump's lawyer, Clifford Robert, we've got a couple of things we need. We want this court to grant leave to appeal to the Court of Appeals, the Supreme Court, the lower level rulings, and so on. And they say, this is what we are doing this for. This is Trump's attorney writing. All right, Court of Appeals, in this case, the Supreme Court, the highest court. I am the principal law firm of Robert and Robert Attorneys. This affirmation of urgency is submitted in support of Trump's emergency. We've got a lot of stuff going on here. All the gag orders and all of the rulings that have come out. We respectfully request this court to grant immediate leave to appeal from the lower level court that reversed the stay of the gag. Why? We need this court to expedite review. We've got to redress Judge Engoron's ongoing violations of the Constitution, the New York Constitution, the judiciary law, the rules of this court. As more fully explained, we're going to talk about why the gag orders, which restrict Trump and their lawyers' speech, impermissibly abrogate their First Amendment rights. We've got serious concerns about this public trial, and we've got serious concerns about the Greenfield in this ongoing bench trial. We have the gag that limits Trump and his defense from even speaking about this, saying here that the judge's first name is David. No, that's not him. Justice David Friedman is the Court of Appeals judge. After robust oral argument, okay, so Engoron gags them, and then David Friedman is awesome. He considers Trump's constitutional and statutory rights, and he says, yeah, we're staying the gag from Engoron. But then in November, a 4-judge panel reversed the stay. Now, the error requires immediate review by the Supreme Court, says Trump. Without an expedited review, Donald Trump is going to suffer irreparable injury every day. Trump is silenced on matters implicating the appearance of a bias and impropriety on the bench during a trial of immense stakes. This is Tishy. Petitioners, lawyers, they have no means of preserving evidence. Okay, Trump's lawyers can't even object to the law clerk whispering in the judge's ear. Okay, she could like walk over there and give him a massage on the back and just say, you're doing a great job, Judge. Keep up the great work. And she could look Alina Abba dead eye, look her right in the eye and say, yeah, Alina, what are you going to do about it? Literally, because they're gagged. And the judge also moved the cameras away from the bench so that nobody could see their games of footsie. So here, look, this is not like Trump, okay, cannot go on True Social and say that woman's, you know, a bad person or whatever. Not even that. Trump's lawyers cannot comment on the clerk. How can they defend their client if they can't make arguments? So here, they say this is very improper. Moreover, Judge Engoron's abuse of the summary contempt power, which is what he used to try to gag everybody, is abusing the law. And so we need leave to appeal this. Said that if we we don't, it's going to be months to resolve this. Trial is going to end, gag orders will expire far sooner, and these First Amendment issues are going to evade review. So we also ask that this court expedite this review. We say we're currently available all the time. We've got our case in chief, which is about to conclude on Tuesday. Okay, so Trump, this is the New York trial, the Tishy Latish case, and she is going to be, actually Trump's defense is calling him back to the stand at some point. And here we see that they're asking emergency relief. So that is what that looks like in the Court of Appeals, which is the Supreme Court out of, from Adam Klasfeld. He said, Trump's bid to expedite and escalate the effort to overturn his gag order. So again, the gag order was imposed, then it was stayed, then the Court of Appeals reversed the stay. He said, please reverse the reversal of the stay so the stay is back up so that I can continue to say what I want. And I need you to do this like now. They say that this has been denied. So this is what Trump submitted. Summary statement on the application for expedited service. The Court of Appeals, which is the Supreme Court, comes back out. They says this application is for expedited leave to appeal by permission, and we want it expedited. Here is what the court says. This is Judge, this person, says the application for interim relief seeking an expedited grant of leave to the Court of Appeals is denied. As such, a motion must be decided by a full panel of this court. So further, the movement seeks an interim application for a preference is likewise denied. Such determination must be made by a full panel of this court. So the application for an expedited briefing schedule is granted as set forth below. All right. So here's what's happening. The Court of Appeals, the Supreme Court, has said the gag is going to stay in place, but will consider it later. And so there'll be a full briefing schedule that will be posted at some point. And so they'll actually have further arguments on this. So they didn't just reject it, right? I was concerned that maybe they just rejected the appeal or something, but they didn't. So they'll have a briefing schedule. Then the full panel, the full court will make decisions when there are oral arguments at a later time. But this is showing us that the gag order is still in place and Trump will not be able to comment on it. And so that will take some time. Let's see if we have any update on when that might take place. So Klasfeld was there, I believe. He says the AG's office will have another opportunity to oppose Trump's efforts for leave to appeal on Monday, December 11th. So a short time from now. The date of the anticipated start of the second round of testimony is going to be the civil, when he's supposed to testify next week. So apparently he's going to be called to the stand to testify. Unknown when or how New York's Appellate Division, the first department, will rule on Trump's request. So that's to the asking the Appellate Division for permission to go to the Court of Appeals. But this is now certain. That will not happen before he takes a stand once again. That is to say, the ruling doesn't mark the final say on the matter, but as a practical matter, Trump's not going to get the relief before he is supposed to testify. So in other words, the briefing schedule here, this is not going to happen before he testifies. And I think Trump is near the end of the trial. So he's almost the last witness in the case, and it might be over and it might be moot. So the gag is going to stay in place. Some people are going to be very happy about that. MSNBC's #1 show called Inside Jen Psaki, for some reason, they posted her and she shared this, says that, you know, Trump posts a lot of bad comments. He says a lot of mean things. And Sarah Reese Jones got this for us at Politicus. Sarah says here, Jen Psaki shared this on her show, saying that if you are not concerned with Trump's truth posts, you should be, because they're dangerous. Here's what she says.
Things were combative, and they were at times, even when reporters kept pushing and questioning, as was their job. That was democracy working. That is what a free press is supposed to do. And it doesn't exist everywhere in the world. In fact, it's diminishing in the world. So Trump's Truth Social post may have seemed unhinged and crazy and random and like you could ignore it. It was actually, though, a threat to the free press, a threat to democracy. And that threat comes at a time when a record total of 533 journalists are currently detained worldwide. That's according to Reporters Without Borders.
Did Trump do that? Jen? What? What? Is she blaming Trump for this?
A large number of them are being held by the sorts of authoritarian regimes that Trump envisions creating here at home.
The sorts.
These are countries being led by his role models, like Russian President Vladimir Putin, who Trump called very savvy and a genius for his actions in Ukraine. In Russia, an American...
Well, he's winning. He's beating Biden and the United States that have depleted everything in order to support that. Even Lindsey Graham's like, hey, ixnay on the Ukraine, okay? We're done now. So it's not working for him. So Putin mopped the floor with all of you guys, Jen. So he is pretty smart.
Journalist Evan Gershkovich has been detained for 249 days simply for doing his job.
Russia,
Trump has also
Trump.
repeatedly praised the leadership style of China's President Xi Jinping. Over 100 journalists are currently...
Who got San Francisco to clean their crap up. You couldn't even get Gavin Newsom to clean the crap up in San Francisco. But President Xi comes in and does. And so Trump is right. He is pretty smart. He can get even the left to clean up their own fecal matter on the streets of their cities.
Detained in China. And over the last couple of years, several foreign journalists from major outlets have been expelled entirely from the country. Putin and Xi are models for Trump. We know that. Leaders who jail and silence journalists.
How about leaders who jail and silence American citizens who are participating in free speech, who are there just protesting like the left does all the time, who did nothing like an insurrection? Okay, Jen, these people are maniacs.
Who do not tolerate free speech. That's what Trump is threatening.
The FBI, the DOJ censored millions of Americans, including us here.
And if you don't think he's eager to use those tactics, if you don't think he is dying to silence his critics in the media, think again. The Washington Post Jason Rezaian was held hostage for 500...
He should silence the propagandists out there, right? And I don't mean illegally or by eliminating them in any way, shape, or form, but by winning in massive numbers such that these people are shown for the fakers that they are. Everything she said is what the Democrats do. And she went on her show and lied to her audience about it. And it's a weird situation that people keep tuning into that show, Inside Jen Psaki on MSNBC, but they're into that stuff. So my friends, that is the latest at the Court of Appeals. So Trump is seeking leave to file in the highest court. And we'll see if he gets permission to do that, what the briefing schedule looks like. But the gag is going to stay in place until we get there. We'll see what happens at the New York Court of Appeals. If and when he gets there, Tishy's going to be responding. We'll continue to cover the New York trial as it unfolds. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for checking out robertgovea.com to sign up for our daily newsletter. If you want these segments wrapped up in a bow and delivered to your inbox every day, that's the place to do it. Absolutely free. We'd love to sign you up there. robertgovea.com for the daily newsletter. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.